Hey guys, and welcome to the Rift Endgame Consumables Guide. Today I'm going to be talking you through sort of all the consumables at Rift Endgame and stuff that's required for raiding and, how you can get the most out of your performance consumable-wise, really. So I'm going to be talking you through all of the ones available. So some I consider mandatory and I'd say are pretty essential if you want to go raiding, and others are optional. They'll give you a slight DPS increase, but they're not needed. Anyway, regardless of which, the first one is vials. That is the first consumable, and as you can see, these I use Stellar Bright Surge vials, which basically, in terms of vials, there are three tiers. There are the really cheap ones, the green ones, the kind of a bit more expensive but still affordable blue ones, which are Stellar Bright Surge, and there are the fucking expensive relic ones, which I do not suggest you go for. So I'm just going to show you on the auction house sort of the prices, so you get a pretty good idea. Bear in mind these vials only do last an hour, so you can see why they're not worth it. So the green ones, they're fairly cheap. Let's go to unit price and filter it that way. The cheapest ones are about 1 plat and 12 gold per hour, which is fairly decent. The ones that I use are about, they're just under 3 plat an hour. And then if we skip to the next page, the cheapest relic ones are just over 30 plat an hour. So they're very, very expensive and only should be used on the bleeding edge of progression. But in all honesty, I don't really see any fight where the DPS timer is so tight that they actually need to be used. So for now, I don't think they're a worthwhile investment. Anyway, moving on to the next set of consumables. So the next consumable we have, which is pretty much the biggest performance increasing one, and if you have only one consumable, this is the one that you should have. So it's either a power stone or weapon stone. Now, there are similar with the vials, there's the cheap one and there's the expensive one. So the cheap one is about 10 plat, and that increases your spell power or attack power by 200 for 4 hours, which is pretty much the average duration of a raid. Let's just compare the prices quickly and just see how much the relic one is in comparison. So as you can see, the green one's about sort of 8 plat, 8-9 plat for an hour, 4 hours, which is very decent. Whereas the relic one, it's actually not that bad, which gives you an extra 50 spell power or attack power, and that lasts for 4 hours as well, and that's also 40 plat, so that is slightly more affordable and will give you, a bit of a DPS increase. So you can use those, and probably if you're doing progression, I'd say they're a worthwhile investment. You get it for the whole night, and it's only sort of an additional 30 plat you have to fork out for it. So I will definitely be buying more of them. Anyway, moving on to the next thing, which is feasts. Now, the Feast of Domination is the one that should always be put down in a raid, because it's pretty much best for everyone. And usually you won't have to worry about this, but somebody in your raid will. So, you want to coordinate between yourselves if you're in a group of people who's going to bring all the feasts and put them down, and the duration of this lasts between half an hour and 40 minutes, also depending on your plan or attunement. So the next consumable you have is comfortable insoles, or pretty much any insoles. I'd say the comfortable ones are probably the best. They give you a run speed bonus for 4 hours. The comfortable ones give 10% ones, and you can also get relic ones which give 12%. I'm just going to quickly check the price difference on them just to sort of see how much they are. So the exceptional ones which give 12% are 17 plat, in comparison to the green ones which give 10% are 9 plat. So there is not actually that much of a price difference once again. So it might be, worthwhile you investing, just for a bit more. But in all honesty, that 2% won't really make that much of a difference. But actually having these insoles and, having 10% gives you a bit of leeway on mechanics. You can react quicker, move out of stuff. So we're going to go in now to sort of what I consider optional stuff. You don't need this, but it's probably a good idea to have them. So in my bag, I have a big stack of Raffle Flames, and I tend to use them whenever they're off cooldown and there's a fair bit of AoE damage going on, just because it gives you an extra sort of 25,000 damage, that can be sort of dealt back to the boss whenever he's dealing AoE to yourself. It adds a bit extra onto the meters for you. You also have Archiax tablets. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. That was horrible. I just butchered the name of that. So these give you increased strength and wisdom for 15 minutes by 60. Now, if you keep on popping these, they're probably going to cost you an absolute fortune. So on progression, I'd suggest, taking a stack of those. And also, the opposite ones, which give you intelligence and dexterity, which are Petrified Rooms. So both of these are completely optional, and I'd suggest you use them for progression bosses or when you're really struggling, or maybe you just want to show off on the DPS meters. These are two, good things to have, as they give you quite a bulk of extra stats, but they do last for 15 minutes and do get removed when you die. So, they're not something you can constantly be popping. And finally, the last consumable is combat banners. Now, usually in a raiding environment, the guildmaster or raid leader would provide these combat banners, but there are quite a few scenarios, sort of, in expert dungeons and that, where I like to have a couple of combat banners just to make things go a bit faster. You can buy them from a guild vendor for 1 plat each, so they're fairly affordable, but they do, get removed when you die. So that's something to bear in mind. Anyways, guys, those are the 8 consumables that can, increase your performance. There are also stuff like crit pots as well that you can get off the auction house, but I consider those entirely optional, and I don't personally use them because they just burn a massive hole in your wallet. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about consumables, the prices, or anything, just feel free to leave in the comments below. Feel free to like the video, and thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.